So I believe it was just yesterday that Alex Jones returned once again to the Joe Rogan Experience. As you guys all probably know, Joe Rogan signed for $100 million deal with Spotify. And what's been going on lately is Spotify employees have essentially been protesting the Joe Rogan Experience. And so what has been going on right now is Twitter users went to Twitter to say that Joe Rogan's podcast, which was number 1555 with Alex Jones, had disappeared from Spotify. So it appeared, obviously, given the controversial nature of Alex Jones, obviously he was banned off Spotify himself. He was banned off every platform, right? So it is a little bit kind of bizarre that, Joe Rogan is able to have him on considering he was banned. A little bit odd, it was interesting. So it goes down. People are wondering, hey, what exactly is going on here? Now, Joe Rogan sending out this IG post. Okay, he sent a screenshot of this, and he says, "The conspiracy about the show with the conspiracy theorist. The episode that was uploaded to Spotify had some cache issues, and it wasn't working correctly on some devices, so the engineers had Jamie re-upload it with the same date, thinking it would fix the problem but still play for everyone like it was never missing. Didn't quite work out perfect, which led to my phone getting hit up by people thinking it was removed. It works for me now, but some folks are still having trouble seeing it. They're still working on it. It is, however, fucking classic and amazing that this glitch only shows up in the Alex Jones episode." So when you first read the first part of the tweet, it seems like he's making fun of or denying the claims that there's any censorship going on. But once you read that bottom part where he says it is, however, classic and amazing, this glitch only shows up in the Alex Jones episode, it tells me that, okay, he's trying to hint at something, that there is an attempt going on here, but he can't really come out and say it forward. So, it's all up to, I guess, singular interpretation and what your personal interpretation of this message is from his Instagram post. But to be quite frank with you, my personal belief and interpretation is he's trying to give out a sort of a hint, essentially, that what's actually going on is, they are trying to censor it, but I can't tell you that, up front. There was also a report in BuzzFeed yesterday saying that Spotify is defending Alex Jones' appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience. And so it says, in public, Spotify is staying quiet about an appearance by conspiracy theorist Alex Jones yesterday, despite banning Jones' own podcast last year. But in an internal email sent from a top executive, the company is defending the booking. Gutierrez, the company's chief legal officer and head of global affairs, wrote to team managers on October 28th about the episode of Joe Rogan's podcast that featured an interview with Jones and podcast host Tim Dillon. Quote, "If a team member has concerns about any piece of content on our platform, you should encourage them to report it to Trust and Safety because they're all experts on our team charged with reviewing content. However, it's important that they aren't simply flagging a piece of content just because of something they've read online. It's all too common that things are taken out of context." The email, which did not name Jones directly, also outlined, quote, talking points that top management should recite if asked about the interview. "Spotify has always been a place for creative expressions," the top bullet point said. "It's important to have diverse voices and points of view on our platform. We are not going to ban specific individuals from being guests on other people's shows, as the episode/show complies with our content policies," the talking point said. "In closing, we appreciate that not all of you will agree with every piece of content on our platform. However, we do expect you to help your teams understanding our role as a platform and the care we take in making decisions." So essentially what's going on here is, and it was reported that essentially what was going on previously was there was this fight going on between the top brass of Spotify and then the, employees who are, socially liberal employees who are trying to get rid of Joe Rogan. And it seems inevitable to me that there's eventually going to be a really big clash. They've obviously already been clashing, right? But it's really obvious to me that there's this sort of peak coming. There's a peak inbound that there's going to be this major fight, essentially. And who's going to end up winning? I don't know, but it really does seem like Spotify is sticking with its guns when it comes to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is, their crown jewel. He's by far the biggest podcast anyone could really pick up, and so they're standing by him. There's a reason why they gave him $100 million. I believe based on Spotify's stock rise, they way outmade what they paid for him already. So essentially, they're sticking with him. They're not going to take him down, but there does appear to be some weird stuff going on here, I guess, with the quote cash issues that are going on with Joe Rogan's podcast specifically. None of the other podcast episodes, but interesting stuff going on. Who knows what's going to end up happening?